On this week's Throwdown, we have Mighty Mia, Magnificent Myra, and Killer Kylie demoing the workout.
We've got toes to bar, box jump overs, shoulder to overhead, and hang power cleans.
We release these workouts right here on YouTube every Thursday at
1 p.m. Join our entire community to practice the skill of competing.
Use the next 2 days to plan a strategy, grab some friends, and throw down on Saturday.
See where you stack up each week on our Throwdown leaderboard. It's free to sign up. Go to trainingthinktank.com/throwdown.
This week's Throwdown is a 15-minute AMRAP of 9 toes to bar, 12 box jump overs, 9 shoulder overhead, and 12 hang power cleans.
For all the movement standards, check out description down below, but the one that we wanted to point out, make sure that your elbows come all the way through in front of the barbell on your hang power cleans.
We got 3 demo athletes this week. Surprise, surprise. Mia is one of them. You know her. Myra Brandt, elite masters competitor, ex-gymnast, and Kylie, who you've seen before, who's been a sanction level team athlete. All of them are going to go head-to-head in this one.
My turn. All of us are wearing chesties with the little TTT logo on them. Those are going to be available on our website soon.
The next 2 throwdowns are going to be open workouts, retests from a couple years ago, so get excited for that. They are also part of our online training program, The Design. We are finishing a testing phase. If you're interested in that, go to trainingthinktank.com/DSGN.
Let's check out these girls' strategies.
It's like I'm not even here.
You're not.
Try and do the toes to bar unbroken. Have a couple different strategies for the box jump overs, just depending on how I feel. Shoulder to overhead, we'll just try and keep that up and then break up the hang power cleans to save my grip for the toes bar.
I'm gonna break the toes to bar early into 2 sets. I'm gonna stay moving on the box jumps at a comfortable pace, and then for the shoulder to overhead, I'm gonna break them in half, and then same for the hang power cleans. And I'll try to go from one movement into the next to kind of save time on the barbell.
My strategy is to break the toes to bar from the beginning. I'm gonna try to stay fast on box jumps, stay low, and try to get through those pretty quickly. As I get tired, I'm sure they'll slow down, but I think that's where I can kind of make up the most time. And then I'm gonna do the shoulder overhead unbroken until I have to start breaking it up, and I'm gonna break the hang cleans into 3 sets, try to save my grip.
There's a number.
3 seconds.
2, 1. And we have
They're
begun.
off.
This is the best part of the workout, when everyone's just nice and fresh. And you can already see that Myra's fresh toes are better.
Very fast and clean, that's for sure.
I think the speed, the straight-leggedness, just the overall ease with which that movement is done from an ex-gymnast, you'll see that that is going to play a major role in this workout and how this workout went.
Yeah, if I were a betting man, I would
And
assume
you'd also be an insider trader.
big time cheater. I make so much money though. I would bet that the toes to bar will be what separates these ladies in the workout.
Yes. That's happening so quick. The box jumps, I think, just when it gets back to that in the next round, you can kind of see the difference between Kylie's kind of face-on strategy of jumping, stepping off versus rebounding. All of these little technical things and efficiency is going to play a major role in determining like who can stay consistent over the course of 15 minutes. So Myra's breaking her round of hang power cleans here, which is the last movement in this first round, and she's going to finish this round around 110, which is right now, and then you see the other girls are going to finish pretty close behind her, but then we'll start to see how efficiency and speed of movement just really starts to separate over the course of the workout.
I used to be really confident in my toes bar, and then I watched this back, and now Myra is the gold standard.
Yeah. So
I think that's a nice thing though, right? Like
Yeah,
you get to
for
see
sure.
all these other amazing athletes. We had a camp this weekend, so you see different techniques and like, oh, I can steal that, technique or that the way that they do that movement, whatever it may be, for my toolbox, and obviously allow you to be a little bit faster.
Yeah, one of the things with regards to gymnastics is just to be able to do that. It's not like you could just practice this and real quick develop it. There's a lot of requisite core and flexibility needs that are required if you want to be able to move with that level of just tension and feet together. You need just good hip extension, good arch, good hollow sequencing. All that stuff really matters.
Yeah. To go to the box jumps, you can see Kai's a little bit behind. I think if you know that your bounding mechanics aren't very good or that's going to blow you up, that may be your only option. But you see the difference between Mia and Myra going kind of that lateral bound and then a quick step off in the last few reps versus that face on. You're talking about 5 or 6 seconds every single round.
Yeah. This bounce strategy too with the hang power clean, I mean, really at this weight, I feel like it's the only way to do it, to just be able to cycle it quickly. It takes a little bit of stress off your grip as well if it's this light, because you almost like use the bounce off your thigh to change directions as opposed to your grip catching onto it going through a hinge.
Yeah, quick tip for those that, because I'm not very good at it, one of the things that you can do is if you have really long arms and it's not really meeting your hip or high hip, then you can widen your grip out on a light load like that, and it won't blow your grip up, but also still allow you to get it into your hip and kind of do that little bop bop is typically what we call it around here.
Yeah. So they finished round 2. Myra split in that second round. It's actually in the middle of round 3, but Brandon was talking.
Sorry.
That round was 125 for both Myra and Mia and Kylie. All 3 of them were at a 125 pace for that second round.
And then this is where I start giving up hope of keeping up with Myra.
Yeah.
I thought that I would be able to make up ground on the box jump overs, which I did, but like that was definitely where I could save some time. But her transitions into toes to bar, her speed of toes to bar, was just so impressive, and I could not hang on to that.
And I think being able to go unbroken on those, like
Yeah.
that is such a big, and most people probably shouldn't even try to do that, but if you can, doing 9 unbroken every single round is so much faster than having to take that, 4 and then 6 and then 8-second break towards the end.
Her cycle rate on power clean is also faster than mine. And I'm not sure exactly where it's coming from. Maybe she's faster out of the top, but she definitely moves it quicker than I do. And she's only a couple inches shorter than me, so I don't think it's a range of motion thing.
I really like how all of you you already predetermined your breaks when you went into the first round, and then you've done it the last 2 rounds of basically, for you said, I'm going to do 3 breaks. Myra's taking 2 breaks every time. I don't know what she does the rest of the workout, but that's a great strategy, knowing that you're going from hang power clean into toe to bar where there is going to be a grip limitation.
Man, Myra she does her toes to bar, and then she basically comes off the bar and gets right to work on the box jump.
One of the things that reminds me of is like a Travis or someone else that's really good at double unders, doing a hard workout where maybe it's like a thruster and a double under, but that double under is almost a break. And to me, it looks like Myra's taking a break on the toes to bar.
Yeah, that's an amazing skill to have.
Do you know what that feels like?
They don't feel like that to me.
It's bench press for you. That's the only break.
Yeah, that's the only time.
I don't have it. Maybe,
Yeah.
well, no.
I
have
do
nothing.
think that the transition from toes to bar into box jumps for everybody should be fast, because it's the only movement where you're not using your arms, shoulders. So even if you just get halfway in right away, I do think you should get right into it and knock out a set, because your legs aren't fatigued. So you might as well just start going.
I actually really like Kylie's technique if you're going to be someone that can't jump well. But again, like this is just, you're talking about, she's lost probably 20 seconds in the workout so far just on box jumps.
Yeah, I mean, when we get to the later rounds, we have split times taken for the second to last round, as you'll see, we get through this. Myra's box jumps are taking 24 seconds in that, Mia's are 18, and then Kylie's 33.
Yeah.
So that's a really, really significant amount of time lost on only 12 reps of box jump. So I think that strategy is probably not something I would recommend people do. I'd try to even just do, if you did 3 sets of 4 quick rebounding with a quick break, you'd probably get through it quicker than doing the step-off technique.
Yeah,
Whereas-
the way that, I keep
No,
cutting
go
you
ahead,
off. So you can beat me up. The only way you can get away with that is you have to keep the same time as your first round. So like Kylie's first round was only 3 seconds slower, but the problem is that if you're already bad at bounding, it's going to deteriorate even more, and then that's where you get those 30-second rounds, which just you can't do in a workout like this.
Yeah, and there are some workouts where that strategy might actually be a good strategy, but in a workout that the rep scheme is that low and the cycle rate is that quick of rounds, I just don't think that it's going to be the most successful strategy unless you can fly on the barbell and the toes to bar.
Yeah. Mia, when you jump, you kind of bring your chest down. You actually remind me of myself a little bit. Are you trying to save your legs a little bit, or is that just kind of what feels efficient to you?
Yeah, we talk about in workouts like something will look really easy but feel really hard. I think that's the opposite for me for box jumps. Like they don't look very smooth or athletic really, but they feel super easy like that. Like the box jumps were easy for me the whole time and never really got tiring. I know if I stayed lower then they would be a little faster, so that's something I should work on, but they were rest. So I think it's just more work for me to keep my legs that bent. Like it's, you know.
I feel like it's harder for me to breathe in that position, so I basically keep my legs straight. But the tendency is then for me to start getting my head forward and my chest down, which also then limits my ability to breathe. So it's like finding that balance in between those two.
Yeah. that was very comfortable for me. It just looks goofy.
Yeah, the landing position, I feel like there's really two ways people do it. And this happens at the elite level also. Some people, they kind of just jump up a little, pull their knees up and land almost in like a, on the forefoot of their toe in a squat. And other people who jump up way higher and they're landed almost flat-footed on the box and they're rebounding. Some people that land flat-footed are still like hunched over versus being really tall in the chest. But I don't really think there's a better or worse or more efficient way to do it. I just think it's like squatters are probably more likely to land low and hingers are more likely to jump and land high.
Yeah.
And I am definitely not a squatter.
Learning which one you are, I think, is kind of the point of all of this, right? Like figuring out what's your most efficient take on the movement and then trying to execute that in a workout is what's going to make you your best self in this kind of setting.
Yeah, something I've also noticed, and I did during the camp, I was taking notes on Myra. Her barbell cycling, her feet are really close together. And if you look at Kylie, her feet are really wide. When you jump, you're never jumping from that wide of a base. So generally people who have that really wide base when they're doing barbell cycling or the start of their Olympic lifting, they'll generally, I think, have a little bit harder of a time with their feet closer together jumping just because they're not used to that. Unless they have background in training both. We kind of default into patterns that we use all the time. And even when Myra, she hit, I think she hit a pretty near close to PR snatch, and just maybe because of her gymnastics background, right after she stood it up, she brought her feet like right together to stand up, like she was sticking a jump or a backflip or something like that. And I was like, it's really interesting that we just default to the patterns that we've trained our whole lives.
Kylie was also a gymnast, though.
Oh, she was?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you just make that up?
No, I'm pretty sure she used to do gymnastics.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Sorry if that's wrong, Kylie. But.
Yeah, I think also too, it probably depends on duration and years done and what they were doing. Myra, I know, did like gymnastics all the way through and then tumbling, so it could have been just a shorter period of time or something like that.
So this is like the first set, Mia, that I've noticed that your rest break on toes to bar got a little bit longer, maybe 3 or 4 seconds. Is this kind of the time in the workout where it hits you with grip fatigue? Was it more like core-based fatigue?
No, it wasn't so much grip. It was more my shoulders. Yeah, they were getting really tired. And for the first probably 3/4 of the workout, I was going 9 shoulder overhead, and I'd go right into my first set of hang cleans. And then I started dropping after that because I was starting to get a lot of shoulder fatigue.
Yeah.
I think because I broke the hang cleans so much, grip wasn't that much of an issue, but my shoulders were really fatigued.
I really like the idea of going straight from shoulder overhead, which I think is going to be easy enough for most people at 65, 95, into a few hang power cleans. I think that makes sense. It's less time picking up the bar. But again, I mean, you have to figure out a strategy that's going to allow you to move as quickly as possible.
What would you say the biggest differentiator in this workout for just like somebody who's not an elite competitor that just wants to get a score, like somebody that maybe would be an intermediate category? Would it just be pacing the workout and just ensuring that you don't blow up? Because I know, like even Kylie as an elite, her first round was 116, and then her paces in round 5, 6, and 7 were 211, 216, 214. So I'm guessing that deterioration for a less trained athlete would be a lot bigger. So I think maybe pacing would be the most important thing at that point.
Yeah, definitely break it up a lot from the beginning, especially if you know that your toes to bar you're going to have to break into 3 sets or even more than that. Just starting with an unbroken set or starting with big sets or trying to push the hang cleans unbroken is just not smart. You're going to lose way too much time for that level of athlete.
Yeah.
If you're higher level, then if I did this again, I would probably try to go out a little hotter. And
yeah, I was going to, I know that I'm a little bit different when I talk about pacing strategy than most people, but I always think people need to go out hotter than what they can sustain at the elite level. They just are so much better at not falling off as much as others. So then if they go out at maybe it's a minute a round, their drop off, their slowest round's still 1 minute and 7 seconds, which to me is like, you got to get that better. Let's make it 1:06 and then 1:05. The problem is that everybody else tries to chase that strategy, and most people probably do need to overpace the first couple of rounds and then figure out the last few rounds how much faster they can go.
Yeah, it's a matter of like how much hotter. Because if your average pace ends up being 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes, so let's say you complete 5 rounds and you do your first one in 1:30, that's probably way too hot. Whereas if you go out at a 2:30 pace and expect some fall off, that's really what the deterioration
Right.
elites are seeing. Even though they look like they're going at full speed, they're able to sustain that for a period of time.
Yeah, the sport is just so different for the top. I mean, you're going to see it at the games in a week. The males and females that are in the top 5, everybody's going super fast, and then it's just a matter of how fast they can hold on to that. And it's the same thing with every other sport. Like you see it in a 400 meter or an 800 meter at the Olympic Games, or even at 100 meters. What makes Usain Bolt so good is that his deterioration is less than everyone else's.
Yeah. One thing I noticed in the last round, we'll see if Myra does it here. She did this a little bit in her workouts here. She has this like pause overhead right here. That just slows down the cycle rate of shoulder to overheads. Like Mia's split time for those is 13 seconds versus Myra's at 16, and they're both going unbroken. That little pause is something that probably helps her save her heart rate and manage the workout. But if she was competing against another gymnast that had similar capacity, that might potentially be an area of opportunity to be like, all right, I'm not going to rest overhead. I'm just going to go through these as quickly as possible. Those are the little details that separate from like the 99th percentile or the 98th percentile to the 99th percentile.
Yeah, if you are going to do something like that, you have to take advantage of another movement, which she is with the toe to bar and the hang power clean. I mean, she's pretty fast, but then it would have to probably be unbroken power cleans, 3 or 4 second transition, unbroken toe to bar to make up that time.
So she just finished round 9, and now she's moving into round 10. And that was probably the slowest transition that I've seen when she finished those hang power cleans to the toes to bar. But I mean, if you're going to jump up and do them unbroken and quick, I guess a slower transition and then speeding the transition to the box jumps maybe is a good strategy.
I have a great question, Mia. How did
Yes.
chesty feel as you were doing your shoulder overhead?
No bruises. Felt great.
I actually need one because my left collarbone just gets destroyed when I do shoulder overhead or power cleans.
I thought you were going to say you were developing breast tissue.
Well, after that bench press workout, I think I am. You still have to do it, Max.
So
Nah.
30 seconds left. The sprint finish. Or
Yeah,
something
you can
like
tell
that.
Kylie's movement speed here is definitely sped up a lot
yeah.
on those hang
Those
power
look really
cleans.
good
You
and
can
fast,
tell
too.
this last round. So Kylie's finishing her last round at 139. So she definitely kicked aggressively, but that makes me think that those rounds of 151, 211, 216, 214 could have potentially been a little bit overpaced if she had that much gas at the end. But, you know, it's hard to know that ahead of time if you haven't done a workout.
Yeah, and the last thing, I know they just finished the workout, but the movement speed for Mia and Myra didn't really change much. It was just the transition times kind of got a little bit longer. So something to think about for those that are about to do this.
All right, everyone. Good job, Mia. Thank you
Thanks.
for demoing. Project Pat, you know the deal.
It's a wrap, you know what I'm saying? Your boy Project Patar in this thing, man. Hey, look, man, thank y'all for watching Training Think Tank's YouTube channel. Y'all hit that motherfucking subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? So y'all go ahead, man. Thank y'all for watching the channel, you know what I'm saying? Hit that motherfucking subscribe button, let it be known, what it be known, what it be known, you know what I'm saying? Patar.